My name's Alan Snedden. I'm design manager for Robertson Homes, and I've overseen the introduction of the Artistry Range.
My name's Graham Ray, architectural manager, and have heavily involvement with the new Artistry Range 18.
Martin Eaglesham, I'm architectural manager, involved with a lot of the layouts, so designing new sites, taking them from being a field to bringing them to life.
You know, we're a small enough company that we can influence change. So for us it's great that you can actually take part in that and really drive it as well. And we had the boutique range of house types, you know, excellent house types, and we've built up a good brand from them. But we've just taken that to the next level with, you know, attention to detail, designing out, you know, all the little bugs and things in the houses, focusing on materials and specification, and you're really starting to see that now in our street scenes that we're bringing forward. Initially we go out and we spend the day on the site, and you know, we look at the views, we look at the landscape, we look at what we try to draw into the site, and that's the most important part of it, I think. You can't just be handed a site and go and design it. You have to understand it. Every place is unique, so I think spending the time on the site and just walking around and discussing it, then going back, and we can then sometimes come up with different ideas for how we want to do areas, and then kind of piece them together from there.
So you take each site as its own merits, so you have to look about where the site is, what's around it, what you can connect to, how does it feel, views, south-facing gardens, things like that. So you're taking each site on its own merit, what's around it. You know, is there other houses around it, or if there's hills, is there fields, is there trees? You know, you've got to try and think about what's the person going to see when they're living in the place. So from a site side, it's certainly taking each on its own, and there is a bit of creative license, and I think that's what Alan was talking about earlier about being a smaller family-owned business. You get a chance to do a lot more of that, and whether that's with the house types or whether that's with the site, you get a lot more involved in with the larger PLC organisations. At least that's what I think. For me, it's about trying to create a hierarchy of having main spine roads that people will mainly drive on, and then secondary and tertiary roads that are more private, so it's only really going to be the people that live there using those streets, but also that allows for slowing traffic down, so that if people are walking on the streets or there are cars about, that anyone travelling there travels at low speed, so that it is safe for people to walk about, so that you don't feel like you're living on a main road.
Helps kind of visitors identify within the site as well that they stick to the main roads, and they know that will help them navigate through the development, where, as Martin says, if you're then on your surface changes, your landscape changes, maybe the pavements come onto the roads onto a shared surface, then you know then that's a residential street and you're only going down there if you live there.
The way the road moves, the width of the roads to slow traffic movement down as well, you know, which is key for people that live in an estate. They want to be able to walk their dog, they want to be able to go out with their children on their bikes and not be worried about cars coming flying past. It's not just about once you're in the site there's some roads and there's some houses on it. You know, once you're at the end of that road, what do you see? Do you want to see a house, or do you want to see the back of a wall? Or
maybe changing the materials of that house at the end to create a vista and gives you a focal point as you're driving up that street, and you think, wow.
I think that's one of the things when you're designing the houses, it's you have to kind of picture yourself living in it, the space, the light. But yeah, there's a few that I would more than happily have.
Well, we've introduced 4 different styles of doors just to break up the street scene.
They've got different styles of glazing, so that they all looks like different. So some will have the square or the diamond shape or the longer windows, just so that each house type doesn't look like exactly the same carbon copy door as you're walking through the site. Just create a bit of difference as well.
One of the biggest USPs about the Robertson houses are just, you know, the light and space that we create in our homes, and one of the features that we've got on a number of our houses is this triple pane window, floor to ceiling, and really lets the light in and just maximises the space within the living rooms.
And I think when we go to our larger house types as well, where we have an increased floor to ceiling height, that has quite a dramatic effect. Again, you don't see that on paper, but it's something that you notice straight away coming into a room, that it's just that increased ceiling height up to about 2.6, so it does make a big difference. And I think when it's such a wide open space, like the kind of open plan kitchen, dining, family area, when that's got got an increased ceiling height as well, it really kind of has a dramatic effect. As a developer, as a builder, keeping the unit size kind of smaller but maximising as much floor space as possible, and the Grand's a great idea.
Gives you that flexibility as well, that it could be a master suite or it could be almost a teenage area, that you can be then downstairs and them up. So it gives you that flexibility in how you want to live and how you use your space. One of the drawbacks that we had in the Grands was, when it is a master suite, then how do you get a wardrobe? Because of all the sloping ceilings, how do you get some good storage and things up here? So this was one of the first lorries that we built, whereby we turned the other half of the Grand into the dressing room, which then leads you through into then the ensuite. So it gives you a full master suite on the top floor, your dressing room off the landing, and then into your own private ensuite as well.